Hello everyone, I'm Mario Lopez McDulligan, and I am here with my fellow film critic,
Jay. So we're here today to analyze the wonderful
beautiful film,
of SpiritBusters and the Guitar of Death.
Yes, and let's disclose, we are in no way related to the cast, director, and we made this film. We don't know them at all.
Not at all.
Though we wish we did. They are so cool.
Best actors I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever.
Best screenwriting, direction, very handsome too. So
I was very impressed with this film. I thought they put a lot of hard work and dedication into it, even though it was rejected from the Sundance Film Festival.
When you have a film load with this much meaning and subliminal messages, your standard Sundance Film Festival judge isn't going to pick up on any of that. He didn't really get the message, but that's why we're making this video right now. We're going to show all of you how to appreciate SpiritBusters and the Guitar of Death. The first frame starts with two soldiers facing away from each other. This is clearly a message about human nature in general. It is quite rare that we see face-to-face with each other, even when pursuing a common goal, as these two troopers are. The troopers are also wearing masks. Why is this? Masks have lots of different reasons, right?
Yes, I agree. It really hides the identity of what's going on.
Exactly. It's like masks can use to frighten enemies, conceal identities, or to have a uniform. But these masks aren't very frightening, and they're wearing different masks, so it's not for uniform. Therefore, these masks are to conceal people's identities. But then how is it that these humans can't face each other if their identities are concealed? Are they even giving each other a chance?
I don't think so.
This is no doubt another jab at human nature. Humans often disagree with someone before they even meet them, whether it's due to prejudices, etc. This is all very basic, elementary stuff that even a first-time SpiritBuster viewer can probably pick up on, am I right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But what if the two soldiers don't symbolize humanity at all? One soldier is dressed in a black mask, red and white sweatshirt, and blue and white pants, while the other is dressed in a green mask, yellow sweatshirt, and blue jeans. The first mentioned soldier is clearly a reference to the movie Red, White, Black, and Blue Odyssey, a film that depicts the adventures of a rugby team in southern Los Angeles, while the other soldier, dressed in yellow, green, and blue, as you can see there, is a symbol for the African country of Gabon, whose flag is also green, yellow, and blue. So, what does rugby and the Gabonese Republic have to do with one another? Absolutely nothing. And that's exactly the point.
Exactly.
When we viewed the two soldiers as humans who couldn't face each other, we realized the film was talking about humans who don't see face to face.
Hence the masks.
Now that those two soldiers are actually rugby and Gabon, we know the film was saying that rugby and Gabon don't get along. In other words, Gabon has no rugby team. If you check Wikipedia, you will see that Gabon is listed as not affiliated to World Rugby. Okay, so what's the message here? Does it matter that Gabon doesn't have a rugby team? Why does the film bother to point this out to us? Gabon doesn't have a rugby team, but slowly developing quite a strong rugby presence. This is represented by frame 1 second in, when the two soldiers are now facing each other.
But although, are they actually facing each other? Because they have masks on which hide their identity, and they're trying to look at each other, but at the same time they can't actually see through each other because they have masks on.
That's a very good point. What's going on here is rugby and Gabon are trying to see face to face, but it's not an instant process because otherwise the masks would be off, but they're still on.
It's almost like there's a wall in between them.
Yes. Represented by this bush here, which looks like a wall between the two soldiers. Alright. Meaning now they see eye to eye, but Gabon is now developing rugby. President of the Rugby Union in Gabon, Pierre Duro, is currently pushing it rugby in Gabon. But what's the film trying to say about this? Let's look a bit closer. In frames between 0 seconds and 4 seconds, the soldier symbolizing rugby says, "Seen anything yet?" The soldier symbolizing Gabon says, "No, not yet." So rugby itself is asking Gabon if they've begun implementing any rugby yet, and Gabon responding that no, they haven't. Rugby then tells Gabon to keep looking, clearly meaning keep trying. However, as any SpiritBuster fan can tell you, these soldiers fail, and the grim peril is that Gabon fails to adopt rugby as a sport. As a result, both soldiers are slain in their mission, which is a warning for all rugby fans everywhere. If Gabon fails to adapt your sport may very well cease to exist.
What a strong message.
Gabon will also be harmed by not adopting rugby. This is because rugby, like all sports, teaches teamwork, communication, and exercise, and its people will definitely benefit from playing rugby. If there's no rugby in Gabon, The rugby misses out on gaining more players, thus beginning its downfall, and Gabon misses out on gaining a new sport and its benefits. The harm is clearly shown when two soldiers meet their demise. Now we've gotten the soldiers out of the way, let's look a bit into the actual scenery of the scene. The scene takes place between the woods and a pile of sticks. Right, the soldiers are walking on green grass in the scene. The woods clearly represents the unconscious mystery of the world. For we see the woods, we really know what's in the woods. Wouldn't you say that's right?
No, you really can't see it any farther than the bushes.
Yeah. The pile of sticks was also once part of the woods, but it has been destroyed, found out, no longer mysterious.
It's a spirit.
So those are in between the two extremes, thus representing how neither Gabon or rugby knows how this relationship will play out in the long run. They can only hope for the best. A less serious, more fun Easter egg occurs in these opening moments as well. In frame 12 seconds...
Notice how the sticks in the background, which is like the spirit of the forest, and then notice how the spirit comes in front of those sticks, representing the spirit.
Oh, as you can see next to Search Blue Slot, we have some pines right here. Now, pines clearly represent Christmas, which means Christmas spirit, which is spirits. That's the main focus of the film. A very genius, humoral little nod in a very serious film.
Yes, yes. Notice how when the spirit appeared, it came from up to down. Because he's going down because he's trying to bring down the SpiritBusters throughout the whole film. So it's shown.
Very true.
From his first appearance, he's already trying to go down.
So Search Blue Slot comes to the scene with a sword, and his sword represents power, courage, and strength. Something Search Blue Slot definitely has. However, he too walks between the woods and the sticks, between the extremes of complete mystery and obvious fact. This is clearly fleshing out Sir Spookslot's character, as not even he knows where his journey, the film, will take him. I personally appreciate this, as it stops him from becoming a simple, one-dimensional villain. Mm-hmm. In fact, the opening itself is truly brilliant. You may have noticed two soldiers are also played by the SpiritBusters actors themselves, Jacob and Carlos. Sir Spookslot is played by Hillbilly Huck's actor, Matt. This is no coincidence, as clearly the movie could have had different actors for all these roles.
Of course.
But chose not to. Mm. This is because, right now, the movie's entire cast walks between the two extremes of the known and the unknown.
Notice, too, how both SpiritBusters, one SpiritBuster is looking into the pile of sticks, which represents the spirit of, because of the spirit of the forest, and the other one's looking right at the spirit, because they're both looking straight on into spirits.
The movie's entire cast walks between the two extremes of the known and the unknown, as every character who begins his journey is unsure of where it will take him. This is truly a brilliant way to open a movie, because every character is shown starting their journey on their own, unsure of where it will end up or take them. This is represented in the film itself, but also speaks to human nature yet again.
Nature.
Again. And nature, right? Human nature.
The in nature.
You got it, Jay. You got it. So just because we don't know where a journey will take us doesn't mean we shouldn't give it a try. At 20 seconds, Sir Spookslot drops his sword and picks up a machine gun, declaring that only he can find the Guitar of Death. The sword symbolizes his power, courage, and strength, yet he drops it for a machine gun, something that is much more controversial and is currently a hot topic in American politics. Mm-hmm. What does it signify? Well, it shows, of course, that Sir Spookslot, while unsure of where his path will lead him, is not afraid to use controversial methods to meet his goal. This clearly differentiates him from our protagonist and sets him apart as the villain in this feature. He is willing to sacrifice his courage and strength for more rudimentary tactics if it ensures his goal is met. The film is trying to state how... Oh, my mustache is falling. The film is trying to state how this is true of most humans. What differentiates the villains from the heroes is the methods in which each employee achieve their goals. So let's wrap it up. We have the country Gabon, rugby, the known and unknown. One starts each journey with, and the willpower to forsake one's values for more grim methods. What exactly is the film trying to say in these first 20 seconds? Well, here's our take.
25 seconds.
While the journey's end is unknown, Gabon should adopt rugby without sacrificing any of Gabon or rugby's ideals, virtues, or values in the process. With that powerful and poignant statement made, at only the 25-second mark, the main title plays.
So this is the Hillbilly Huck scene now. So, in this frame, it's packed with a lot of details and subliminal messages. So here you can see Huck at his desk, but he is at a right angle to where he should be sitting on the desk. Because as you can see behind, that's where you should normally sit on the desk, but yet he is on this side.
Yeah, the small edge of the desk.
This is another example of a brilliant foreshadowing. For right now, Huck is working for Sir Spookslot. So he's not on the right side. brilliantly represented by how he's not on the right side of the desk. On the desk itself, we can see some cold medicine.
Alright, I'll point them out with you.
Cold medicine, headphones.
Yep.
A fan.
Yep.
Soap.
Yep.
Shaving cream.
Yep.
A computer.
Yep.
Calculator.
Yep.
His beloved toothpicks.
Yep, right there.
A mouse.
Yep.
But notice how it's not a real mouse, it's a computer mouse. It's artificial. Just notice how he's inside now, not in nature anymore.
Ah, yes, there is a motif of nature and its destruction.
Yes.
Presented by how the natural mouse is now a robot.
And most bizarrely, an elephant sculpture.
Yep, right there.
So why is this?
Please enlighten me.
Well, is this just some college kid's mega disorganized desk?
Of course not.
They put a lot of thought into placing where everything is.
Oh, yeah.
This elephant here, it represents Ganesha, the Hindu god of wisdom.
Of course.
But notice how this Hindu god of wisdom is between Hillbilly, like the hand sanitizer is in between this god of wisdom and Hillbilly Huck. Because in order to achieve that type of wisdom, you have to go through a cleansing. And this hand sanitizer cleanses your hands from bacteria.
He has to cleanse himself, because right now he's the bad guy. This is a message you wouldn't pick up the first time you see the film, but the second or third or fourth or fifth viewing of this film, you begin to realize this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I picked it up my 17th time.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, who's watched the movie 20 times?
I really can't believe all the foreshadowing that they put into this story.
Oh, yeah, it's just incredible. Amazing.
So, symbolizes cleaning one's act and fixing past mistakes. Cold medicine is clearly a symbol of recovery. Yet, the hand sanitizer helps prevent colds. Yet, if something happens, you still have that cold medicine to help you. As in this, you should always have that backup. And notice how in the movie, Hillbilly Huck backed up the SpiritBusters.
Yes. Very true.
So basically, Hillbilly Huck is cough medicine. He is the medicine for the SpiritBusters.
Yes.
Also notice how, because if he's the medicine, then the SpiritBusters are the hand sanitizer, because they're the ones that are trying to destroy it, like in the first place.
Prevent the infection from happening.
Yes, but if you notice, sanitizer starts with an S. SpiritBusters starts with an S. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Also, worth noting out, in order for him to become the cold medicine he was destined to be, he needs to get to the wisdom. In order to get the wisdom, he needs to first clean up his own act.
Yes. But also you got to do a lot of thinking about this, hence the calculator. Because the calculator, you're doing math, and so you got to think about the numbers and everything you're doing.
Math is like a crutch for society's flaws, right? That's what the calculator represents. Because with calculator, you can solve problems that you normally couldn't solve at all, right?
Of course.
So he needs help to get there.
If you notice, there's a fan in the corner.
And a fan right here.
See how there's multiple fans? Because SpiritBusters has such a large fan base, they really wanted to show that in their actual film. Kind of like a shout-out, you know?
Yeah, like shout out to all our fans out there,
yeah.
right? I mean, they're fans.
And you gotta keep track of it all, too. So, hence the paper and the pencil. Because if you don't know where you were, you don't know where you're gonna get to, because you don't know where you were in the past. But there's also headphones there. Now, what do the headphones represent? I think it represents ignorance. Because if you can't hear anything that's going on, you're not aware of your surroundings. But I don't believe the headphones are plugged in, though, right?
No, they're not. Not being used.
Because Hillbilly Huck's not an ignorant guy. So we wanted to show his personality. Because they couldn't just say that he's not ignorant. They had to show it in some way. So they did this by having the headphones unplugged. Very clever. If you also look back at the fans, the center of the fan represents birth, while the blades reaching out convey all the possibilities from birth where one can end up. And the fan spins.
Yeah.
This is kind of how the Earth goes around the sun.
Circle of life.
Yep. And the shaving cream represents a desire to change. Because when you shave, you're going to be changing your appearance. You're going to be changing how people will physically look at you. But it also shows a desire to change in a social construct of acceptance, similar to how one who shaves is trying to fit into society's construct of beauty. But now the computer is a very interesting symbol. It simultaneously allows people to connect like never before, yet they're apart at the same time. As this can also be shown similar to the mouse.
The mouse is the interface of which we use to connect and at the same time disconnect from other people.
Yes, because it's not a real mouse, it's a digital mouse.
Yes.
This is a symbol of the duality of connections too. The more we are connected, the more separate we are from close friends with him. But why do we use a calculator in the first place? Because when you're doing a long math problem, you may make some mistakes. Because humans aren't perfect. Clearly, Huck is a human, showing that he has flaws. Hence the calculator. Toothpicks are used for poking stuff. You know, when you're at a restaurant or something, you know, you poke the thing. It also holds the sandwiches together, which represents how Hillbilly Huck tries to hold his life together, while it slowly crumbles and falls apart. It's like a sandwich without a toothpick. It just all falls apart in the end.
Yeah.
Like, you try to do it, like, you try to build the sandwich as well as you can, as in that's like Hillbilly Huck trying to spend all this money, but then before you realize it, the sandwich, or his debts, stack up too high and it all falls apart.
It's showing us his motive for betraying the SpiritBusters, and we don't even know he's a traitor yet.
But notice how also I was talking about how the computer connects people. But now if you notice, with this theme of connection, that the toothpick is used to pick out food out of your teeth after a heavy meal. So that's cleaning. But at the same time, there's hand sanitizer, which also cleans. So there's a connection between the cleanliness of it and the computer represents the actual connection of it. These computers connect people. One might also notice how Huck is chewing on toothpicks, a clear foreshadowing of his redemption arc within the story. What the filmmakers are trying to say is that with any amount of wisdom, the elephant symbol, one can clean up one's act. Soap, the toothpicks, and help society recover from its own ignorance, the headphones and the computer. And this can happen many times throughout one's life. Hence the fan, because the fan represented life.
Very true,
this is much more optimistic view on human nature, refreshing from the dark statement said in the first scene.
Yeah, that's about how they can't face each other.
Mm-hmm. Huck is wearing green plaid and blue jeans. He's dressed in green, white, and blue. These are the same colors as the flag of Sierra Leone. Similar to how Sierra Leone's flag was made in 1961 to anticipate the country's independence, Huck will also be becoming independent from the evil side of spirits. A brilliant foreshadowing.
Amazing.
And notice how he also has the explorer hat, because he's exploring the different sides of evil and good. Like, think about all that information that was given about Hillbilly Huck, his personality, about people, about life, about the fans, all within a second.
Yeah, we see a spirit burst into the room, and we can see a spirit drove by a Febreze can right there. It's a Febreze can at 41 seconds. Febreze is used to set up rooms so they smell nice. A little hint, this is a setup to lure the SpiritBusters into trusting Hillbilly Huck.
And Hillbilly Huck seems nice, kind of like how the Febreze once makes the room smell nice.
Huck pulls out the toothpick to tell the spirit he's not telling him nothing. He stops cleaning up his act in this scene because right now he's being evil. He's lying a trap for the SpiritBusters. The evil spirit then proclaims he will feast on Huck's fear.
I'll see how long you last. I will feast on your fear.
Saying he'll feast on Huck's fear, this is keeping the motif of food and toothpicks alive right now. Eating food is dirtying oneself with sins, while using toothpicks is redemption from said sins. But one eats to keep alive. So is it better if the sins being committed to stay alive just to make by? You can't eat toothpicks after all. These are no doubt the questions every viewer is pondering during these very intense scenes.
Yes, yes.
Luckily for everyone involved, the SpiritBusters themselves come into the scene to answer this question. While keeping up with the food motif, the SpiritBusters declare,
It's justice. The famous quote.
Now, saying we're only serving justice, this is a resounding no to the previous question. It's never okay to commit sins. There's always a way just to be fair and just while making a living. Now, eagle-eyed fans may have noticed that Huck has simply vanished right now. As you can see, he is no longer there. But this is because, right now, the film is displaying the argument between it's okay to commit sins to get by versus it's never okay to commit sins to get by. This is because, in this argument right now, Hillbilly Huck has no place. Like, he does sins, but then he redeems himself at the end. So he's on neither side of this argument. Therefore, is the filmmaker saying it's not so black and white as it seems? Because Hillbilly Huck, for example, a very relatable character, does not belong in this scene right now.
But notice how the spirit, too, is also in black and white. But the spirit gets shot, meaning that when the spirit dies, that it shows that it's not really black and white. Notice, too, how it's dark out now. Before it was light and now it's dark.
I thought that was brilliant foreshadowing, right? Because
really
it's light outside when we save him from the spirit. Then it becomes dark outside because he's gonna turn evil on us.
Them ghosts or them spirits are big.
Alright, so you can see right there, he's saying them ghosts or them spirits were very annoying. So is this just a slip up? Of course not. He's nervous because he's lying right now to the SpiritBusters. Eagle-eared fans would have picked up on this and realized the Hug was for sure a traitor right then and now. Why else would anyone be nervous around the SpiritBusters unless they're trying to betray them?
Very true.
Alright, so as he tells SpiritBusters about the Guitar of Death, he begins to chew more and more toothpicks. It's because even though he's doing something evil, he is helping the SpiritBusters right now by telling them about an evil artifact. Hence, unbeknownst to him, he is cleaning up his act right now. At the end, though, all his toothpicks fall out. That's because right now he's no longer good at all. He's being super evil and stuff.
And you can tell that because there's 2 toothpicks going like that. And if you think about it, vampires have those long teeth, that go down on each side.
Yeah.
So those toothpicks represent those teeth, kind of like vampire, which are evil. It's quite the scene.
Yes. You may have noticed, though, there's a trampoline, a fort, and a power line. Viewers might see this and be like, what's a dinosaur need a trampoline or a fort for? Or power lines? Like, the dinosaur's way too big for the fort. The same questions can be asked to the viewers themselves.
Yes.
Like, why do you need a fort? Why do you need all the cell phones and power and technology that you have right now? This is a jab at consumerism in America right now. Because we're so obsessed with, like, defining ourselves based off what we own instead of how we treat other people.
I agree.
And
we don't have that connection like we were talking about before.
Yeah, but when he dies, it doesn't matter about the trampoline he has, or his fort, or his power lines.
Yeah, it's not about the material things what you have when you die. It's about who you have.
Yeah, and if you define your life by, like, what you have, you're not going to have anyone with you in the end, as this dinosaur dies all alone. Yeah. But we find a guitar, like, it's in a case, an open case in the middle of a field.
Yes.
Now, most dinosaurs, they don't care about guitars, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah, like, what do you do for guitar?
Yeah.
However, in this society, right, which is very much a allegory for our society, because we're also obsessed with what we buy and what we have. Because everyone's obsessed with what they own and what they have, a free guitar is, like, a big deal. So, of course, this dinosaur's going to go for the guitar right now.
Rats. Mutation. I have long arms.
Alright, so this individual is unique and special, right? Like, everyone is, pretty much.
Yes.
This dinosaur is unique because he has long arms and he can play guitar. However, this guitar ends up killing literally everybody. What this film is saying is that in society defined by who has what, the individual characteristics you possess will be used against you.
Yes, and also this dinosaur is very material oriented. It cares more about what it has compared to who it has. And if people have that type of mentality, it's going to destroy us all. Kind of like how this dinosaur destroyed everybody.
So, you're probably wondering, why a guitar of death? A guitar represents happiness, control, and peace. Music, on the other hand, represents emotion. For a song can be happy, sad, angry, confused, etc. So we have a guitar that represents peace and happiness, and a song and music which represents literally everything. So then, what we get from this is the guitar of death represents the human experience. For it contains everything from fears, hopes, guilt, sorrow, happiness, laughter, pain. Everything that means to be human represented in that guitar right there.
Yes.
So this guitar, like all guitars, has 6 strings.
Yes. And
6 is the number of man in the Bible. For example, man was made on the 6th day. The 6th commandment says don't murder other people. So, now that you know this guitar represents the human experience, then when all 6 strings are played, everyone dies. In other words, when someone tries to take in all the human experience at once, like, try to understand all the suffering and the happiness and what it means to be human, like, pretty much to know the meaning of life will ruin everything for you.
See, notice how he's playing a C chord, and there's a boat in the background. Now, what do boats drive on? Boats drive on the sea. And the SpiritBusters wanted you to see this.
You know, I think a lot of interpretations in this scene, of course, they're all equally valid.
Notice how there's a rock in the background. Now, what also is rock? Rock is a genre of music that can be played on the guitar. So if you notice, in this corner, there's Xbox. Now, X always marks a spot, and they're trying to find this statue.
You know, the guitar represents the human experience, right? Like all the emotions, life, death, everything, right? Mm-hmm. In order to find this guitar, like, this is the riddle you have to solve, and everyone has to solve this riddle. It's not just the SpiritBusters, right? The filmmakers are telling us how we can figure out human experience.
Yeah, and the water goes upward. And so everything's kind of opposite here. As in,
you have to ditch your fundamental biases to truly experience the human relationship.
And like the human experience is a lot more than just what you actually think you experience. There's a lot of subconscious going on, and so it's not everything that appears that you think is correct. It's kind of like how you may always see that trees go upward, water goes downward, but it's not everything that you see. It's not exactly what it appears to be. Kind of like how the human experience isn't just all that you think it is. There's more to it.
But let's hear the next clue here.
The sky goes darker.
The sky grows darker.
Notice outside, the sky grew darker. Coincidence?
Exactly.
I do not think so.
Yeah, I think the sky goes darker is just a symbol for passing time, right? Like, as the sky goes darker, time is going on. So, like, you can't experience human experience at all in, like, the first, 5 minutes of your Monday morning or whatever. You have to live the entire day.
Yes, and also...
Weeks, years, you have to experience all of it without any expectations, as the previous 2 lines suggested.
Yes. And also, life always has its ups and downs. There's going to be some good days, some bad days, and so there are some dark days sometimes, and that represents that the sky goes darker.
The grass grows bark.
The grass grows barker. Now, bark and grass. Now, grass is an actual thing where bark is part of something. So you're looking at something that's a whole versus a part of. Now, us as an individual, we view ourselves as a whole, like you're a whole person and stuff, yet you're part of something greater than that. So the bark is a part of something, whereas in the grass is the full thing. So you are the grass, whereas in society, you are the bark. Tree is society, and you are the bark that is a part of that. The tree cannot grow without bark, and bark cannot grow without a tree.
Very true.
As
very
in,
true.
you are part of society, and you must contribute to society and help society to help society flourish, kind of like a flower, because flowers flourish.
With water comes sharker.
What was it?
Where the water becomes sharker.
Sharker.
I'm just saying, like, it might get dangerous, right? Mm. Like, you have to take risks in life, pretty much.
You do.
Somehow swimming in sharker waters is much more dangerous than swimming in less sharker waters.
That is very true. I agree with that 100%. I think if you swim with sharks, it's more dangerous.
Very true, very true.
The prey becomes stalker.
So the prey becomes stalker. You shouldn't abuse your power, pretty much. Because, like, predator could abuse their power by stalking their prey and eating them, but if the prey becomes a stalker, then the predator's experience under its new rule is going to be very much determined by how the predator himself treated the prey when he was in charge.
And also, if the prey is... Usually there's a stalker to the prey, but if prey becomes a stalker, there's a reverse of roles. And notice how Hillbilly Huck in the movie reverses his roles. First he's helping the SpiritBusters, and he reverses and goes against them. But then he reverses again and helps them again.
When toothpicks become longer.
We know toothpicks help you clean your mouth out.
Yeah.
And longer toothpicks like even less effort. So he's saying where redemption becomes even more easy to do, because once you experience the human experience, then like redemption is much easier. Mm-hmm.
And if you have a longer toothpick, you have more toothpick. And so if it's longer, you can only need to move it a little bit to make it move at a farther distance on the other side of the toothpick. Which means that if you have more people with you, you can have less effort into what you need to do because you have all that help.
So, Hillbilly Huck is wearing an explorer's hat, which it covers you in all directions. He doesn't know which direction he's going to go in the end, right? Like right now, he's working for the Spirit. He might join the SpiritBusters. He might not. We don't know. Now, our hero, on the other hand, Charlie's hat is one direction because he's going forward. He knows exactly what he wants. He wants justice, and he's going to get it.
Yes.
You know the strongest shape in geometry and structures is a triangle. Triangles help support people, and right now Hillbilly Huck has a triangle.
Ooh, that is
right there on him, clearly hinting at how he will support the SpiritBusters and help them vanquish evil at all costs. In the end, pretty much he's always supporting people. Right now it's the bad guys, but soon it'll be the good guys.
Which is the talent. So
first, you have to find the statue, which is pretty much telling you where it is. So, but then you also have to find Hillbilly Huck, who tells you where to find the statue. So, 2 tellers tell you where the Guitar of Death is. Mm-hmm. You know what else has 2 tails?
A lizard that has tail cut in half.
Yeah. So remember how a lizard gets a second chance at life when an enemy grabs its tail and it cuts it off and runs away? It gets another tail. Somehow there are 2 tails here to get to the Guitar of Death. So pretty much another brilliant motif at needing second chances.
Mm-hmm. Very correct. Now, also, the Guitar of Death represents the human experience, correct? With all the emotions and everything?
Yes, of course.
So could you always view the statue as the meaning of your own life? Because if you think about it, your life is kind of like a riddle that they're trying to solve. And once you find that statue, you can get to the Guitar of Death, which is the human experience. So once you figure out your meaning in life, you can fully experience it. Very deep, very deep.
You may have noticed he's wearing a pumpkin shirt right now. Pumpkin, Halloween, spirits. A very brilliant nod.
It really helps with the whole theme of the movie, you know? Notice how the toothpicks, right before it got zoomed in, the toothpicks changed locations.
Yes.
Showing that Hillbilly Huck changes. I was also up very, very late a couple nights ago thinking about this one part of the movie. And would you agree with me? After you clean out your mouth has changed.
It's like 3 seconds. We have like the different positions that one takes to get the redemption. Mm-hmm. And what is redemption? Being to you.
That's how the walls are yellow. Yellow as in like kind of like the sunlight, you know? And then there's all of a sudden darkness right there. So you have light all around, but then there's a little darkness kind of creeping in, which is like the spirit in the good world.
It's also like life, though, because life always has some darkness to it, right?
That is true, yeah.
No one's life is totally happy. They're kind of showing, like, that's the proper balance. Because this is SpiritBuster headquarters. Like, this is the ideal world right now. So, like, it's okay to have, like, a little bit of darkness in your life. Because that's just the human experience, pretty much.
Exactly.
Also worth noting that he's wearing the Explorer hat now because he's on the quest to find the statue. He doesn't know where it is. So he's looking in all directions for it. Left, right, up, down, you name it. He'll find it.
Charlie's the one that figures out which country you can find the statue. Because he knows the right direction to go. Whereas Jack doesn't know where it is. So he's trying to figure out where Charlie does. So, hence the hats.
Also, this right here is how you tell someone's is a tool. It tells you if someone's completely level or not, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much something's well balanced or not. So SpiritBusters are well balanced in their life, and they have that rule to make sure about it.
Yes. And kind of like how the whole balance of light and dark, that balance ruler helps connect that metaphor of the whole darkness and lightness of life. I also notice how this is a movie that you watch on a screen. There's a screen there.
Great.
Very clever kind of inside kind of joke.
Fourth wall breaking joke right there. It's
exactly.
Like, we know you're watching this movie. Let's analyze that posture, right?
Yeah, so he's like this. Now what can that mean? Well, he has 2 hands on his face. Kind of like how the gun has 2 barrels. Kind of like there's 2 things, sets of light. What does this pair of 2 mean? There's 2 of them. There's 2 guns. They have 2 arms.
Duality is what it's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There's good and bad, that's 2. There's happiness or sadness, that's 2. Pretty much one cannot exist without the other. So right now, Charlie has one direction, so he's not looking for other directions. He doesn't care about the other side. So he's always, like, he's just like a tent, face forward, ready for the day ahead.
Like, he's the one that figures out the riddle, and he knows where X
is, where X marks the spot.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
It. He's making an X with his arms and hands. So he's not doing this because he's bored and wants to do something else right now. He's doing this because he knows where X marks the spot. The answer is within him. And also it lines up with his heart, because the answer is always within your heart.
But you got to use your brain to figure it out, too. So you got to go from your heart to your brain, and that's why he's holding his head. So if he has the brain there, and it connects through the X to the heart, it shows the balance of feelings, which is the human emotion, because they're trying to find the Guitar of Death, and the thought, which goes back to the calculator.
Also, this thing is all blue, and that matches his shirt kind of, and this is like mostly red, and that matches his shirt and hat. While Jack is looking around, he doesn't really know where to go. Charlie knows exactly where he's going. As you can tell by that face, he is very excited. We know the SpiritBusters represent justice, right?
Correct.
Pure, honest to goodness justice.
Yes.
And in order for it to be justice, you have to know both sides of the story. You just can't pick one side and be like, you're right. Like, doesn't work at all. You have to listen to both sides. As represented here as the SpiritBusters, which is literally the human incarnation of justice.
Yep.
Right here, checking both sides of everything.
Yes. And notice how, what would you say this movie is filled with? Symbolism.
Everything.
Well, yes. There's a lot of symbolism here. The book at the top says symbolism.
In case you missed it, right? Now, do you believe that some people at 324 might not know anything about the movie?
Yeah.
They might have missed every single subliminal message that we put in this, that they put in this movie right now.
They blatantly point out all the time that they want you to see this stuff.
Means trees from the sky.
Trees from the sky. Wow. Because what do trees need to grow? They need water. Now, what's in the sky? Clouds. What are clouds made of? Water.
Very true. But also, there's no dirt in the sky.
That's why it can't grow. That's why he's wrong. Because if you look at that one piece of evidence with the water, you may think, all right, it's right. But now if you keep looking at it further, you would eventually realize that it's wrong. Hillbilly Huck, at first, seems like a nice guy. But when you keep going down deeper, you can find out he's really looking at betrayed SpiritBusters. Also notice how before his hands were like this, and now they're like this. Because his fists are closed, because he's closed himself off to certain information.
Alright, so here we have numbers 13 and 14. 13 is like coming of age, right? When you're 13, you're a teenager. That's like a huge milestone in your life.
Yeah. And in some cultures, 13 you're considered an adult.
Yeah, so I think 13 is like they're coming to the right answer. Pretty much, in order to beat Sir Spooksalot, they have to reanalyze what it means to be a SpiritBuster.
Remember, it was where the sky becomes darker. Remember,
yes.
Notice how Jack is wearing a t-shirt of the moon. Where the sky grows darker, that's where you see the moon. So he's trying to show that he is trying to figure out the riddle by bringing his whole self into the riddle, by wearing the clothes, really delving into the whole riddle itself.
SpiritBuster 1 here, Charlie, represents closed off mind and prejudices, while SpiritBuster Jack represents exploring all angles for coming to a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Together, they form justice and the SpiritBusters.
It's kind of like the whole yin-yang thing. It's like,
yes,
you know, you have the dark
yin,
and the
yang,
light.
good and dark, tug and pull,
yep.
Push and pull.
Kind of like how you have the two different ones.
It's a balance.
Yes, exactly.
Similar to how this balance exists in everyone's lives. So everyone has prejudices, but they have to fight them with open-mindedness and be ready to try new things.
Yes. But notice how it's the second edition. There's a motif of 2 going on here a lot. It's 2 SpiritBusters, second edition, 2 numbers. There's 2 little things going down on the blue.
About 2 aisles visible?
2 aisles visible. It's 2 books.
There's a lot of forest. Let's read on.
Is there a lot of forest, though? Because humankind nowadays, we're destroying the forests.
That is very true. We're losing a lot of forest area. Very, very true.
And the water falls upward.
He says that there's a lot of forest. He's not the one that figures it out, the riddle, because he's wrong about that.
Yes.
So it's basically showing how he's on the wrong path of thinking right now.
But it's okay, because he explores all directions as symbolized by his hat.
If you're lost, you also go in all directions.
It is clearly a good thing to go multiple directions when you find the right path.
Yeah, but also, you should know where you're going. If you just keep going in circles, then you're not going to get anywhere.
It's not supposed to be literal, Jay. It's clearly saying explore all possibilities.
Yeah, but going in all directions may not get you anywhere.
The hat is symbolizing trying all directions. That's clearly a positive thing.
It's not a positive thing, because he's lost right now. He doesn't know
Dude,
where to go.
It is not literal he's going in circles, right? It is clearly trying everything. He is being a very smart person.
But when you're lost, you go in all directions, because you don't know which direction to go.
But he's gonna find it. He's gonna find his path faster than someone just looking in one direction.
That's not true. Let's talk about this right now.
All right, you know what, man? You're not ready for SpiritBusters.
I'm not ready.
You
for
are
SpiritBusters.
clearly too stupid.
Too
and
stupid.
You are a fake fan of SpiritBusters.
Oh no! I'm a real fan of SpiritBusters. That was easy. SpiritBusters, Guitar of Death. Watch it on YouTube now.